Hi, I'm Danica. You're watching Danica the Artist. If you're a griever or just feeling stuck, this beginner art activity is just for you. When we look around and see the ashes all around us of our loss, it's difficult to feel gratitude or to see the possible gifts that were given us. We need to be able to see the beauty through the ashes and start to see and create the good that comes out of it. When I lost my grandma a couple years after my dad passed, it was my first experience of watching death happen. It was really hard watching her slowly waste away. I experienced the hospital where there's just a bleakness and just a sad, depressing kind of feel when you come in. There was hospice care where the blinds were drawn shut and the house was still and quiet. We'd tiptoe into her room. It was hard to see these times, my grandma sitting in bed like that. We had quality time with my grandma. She was always so self-sufficient all the time that I knew her. But in this time, she knew she needed help. She knew that her time was limited. And so we got the precious time of sitting with her, of loving on her, caring for her, and just hearing her heart and sharing ours. This was a gift in the midst of the loss. And it was hard to reconcile having experienced 2 losses now as a teenager that were so deep. But as I go through my own healing journey, I'm starting to recover the things that were given me, the gifts of loss, and the gifts that my dad, my grandma, and my grandpa have given me throughout my life. If I refuse to see the good in the darkness, then I spurn the gifts that they gave me. My dad taught me the joy of making things for others. So did my mom. And that's a big, important part of who I am, and a thing that I've embraced and continue to do to this day. My grandpa taught me that it's okay to approach a stranger. It's okay to joke with people you don't know, and oftentimes it results in a new friend. My grandpa taught me how to delight in others just for who they are, and to find the funny moments of life. My grandma taught me how to celebrate holidays really well. We had a box of decorations, or several boxes, for each holiday, even the ones as small as St. Patrick's Day. We had special clothes and foods that we would eat. She taught me the joy of celebrating. And I continue to do that as well in my family life. These are gifts that my loved ones gave me. But the experience of loss also gave me some gifts that I've been coming to realize recently. Experiencing loss at such a young age gave me the gift of asking big questions really early on in my life. It gave me the gift of asking and evaluating what is really important. It gave me the gift of not being distracted by momentary things. I've been given the gift of going deep, and I'm using that gift right now in the creation of this course. I've used this gift with helping others and making friendships and investing in the younger generations in my life. Loss has given me gifts, and I need to acknowledge these things. I don't think the loss happened just so I could receive the gift. But it's a wonderful benefit that out of something so dark and deep and hurtful and painful, that there is good to be recovered. So we're going to do that today. We're going to look at a place of darkness and start to recover the gifts of loss. Today we're going to make scratch art using oil pastels underneath to create a background, and then a wash of acrylic paint and soap to create the black. Then we'll use various implements to scratch away the dark to reveal the gifts or the light underneath. So go ahead and grab a sheet of watercolor paper. And for this project, we'll use either crayons or oil pastels. I myself really love the saturated color of oil pastels, but if you don't have any around, Crayola crayons will do just fine. I selected colors that just sounded good to me. I like the cool tones today, so I'm favoring those. You can choose colors based on what you're feeling or assign meaning to them. but you don't have to. So I just chose these. With your oil pastels or crayons, begin covering the surface completely, making random patterns and splotches. You see there's little white splotches in here, and our goal is to cover them up. It doesn't have to be perfect, but press pretty hard and go over the surface a couple times. Once it's all covered, take a small dish that you can easily clean, and we're going to take dishwashing liquid and black acrylic paint and combine them in equal parts. Take the mixture, once it's combined well, and start glopping it onto your surface, covering the color completely. This is symbolic of the loss that you experienced. Your life was in color before the loss happened, and then a sudden loss means that everything turned black in an instant. What we're going to do is once this dries, we're going to scratch off the black and recover the gifts that we were given. But for now, we're acknowledging the loss and the covering up that happened because of it. Once the surface is covered, wash your brush and set it aside to dry. You might need a second coat depending on how it dries, but you won't be able to tell yet. So I have here the dried scratch art piece. Looks really well covered, so I don't think we'll need a second layer. Now first I'm going to draft what gifts I would like to draw out. I'm going to think in writing first. I have my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, and the loss or grief itself. This will help me to list out these things. For my dad, I learned the joy of making stuff. For my grandma, I told you about learning to celebrate. For my grandpa, I learned how to welcome and make a friend. From the loss or grief itself, I learned the greatest gift I can give is my presence. I also received the gift of going deep. So I'm thinking about each of these gifts that I received and how I would encode them visually. Now you can write these things just using your words on a beautiful canvas, and that will work. But if you want to take a step further, think how can you symbolize this gift in a way that you will remember. For my grandma, I think of Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas decorations. So I'm gonna just draw a turkey. For my grandpa, I think how he would pick up the coffee carafe in a restaurant and go over to complete strangers and start serving them. So there's a coffee carafe. For my dad, I think I'll show the tools that he used. For presents, I think of the other meaning of that word, a present. For going deep, I think of roots. And so once you've brainstormed the symbols that you could use, maybe there's one that sticks out. Or maybe you want to think about how to combine them all. I think for myself, I see that using a tree metaphor would be useful. I like using the tree metaphor for many things, but I can do it if I change this one into a Christmas tree and connect it to the roots. Beneath it, there is a present. And then I think watering the tree will be a coffee carafe. So I'm going to ask you to freehand these things, if you can, because this is like going back to your childhood. You're being a kid again, doing scratch art. If you feel uncomfortable doing freehand drawings, you can find a picture on the internet. Put it on top and crease where the lines are, and then scratch them out more. You can also use the words that you figured out as an option. So all of those things are valid. I'll begin by drawing a Christmas tree. I'm using a chopstick. You can also use the end of a paintbrush, even a pen or a pencil. Even silverware makes different lines. The end of a spoon can make a line by where it presses, and a fork can make patterns like this. Maybe we'll try that for our tree. Remember, don't judge yourself as you go. Just keep drawing. You can always make something new or different. I think for my dad, I will make a stand to hold the coffee carafe up. It doesn't have to make sense. It's just to give it more context. This letter also reminds me of the ways that he helped my mom and other friends do things. If someone was doing a project, it was pretty sure that they would call my dad to come over and help. He was very handy, so that reminds me of the gift he gave me in using his hands to make things and help others. You can see during this process, we're having fun actually, pulling things from the darkness. That's what makes the bright things, the things we draw, so dramatic. It's because they're standing out from the darkness. Once you see one good thing, it stands out brightly. I'm learning how to do this in my life, pulling out beautiful things and new things from the darkness. I think I'll make the star shine to emphasize what we're learning. That light shines bright. And I think I'm done. These are the gifts that I received out of the darkness. These are the gifts that I've reclaimed out of the loss of my loved ones. Their gifts to me will not be given in vain. I will choose to acknowledge them and be grateful for what they gave me in the time that I had with them. And don't forget to sign. If you found some new insight or inspiration, make sure to hit the subscribe button and like this video. That lets me know that you want to see more videos just like this one. I'm a certified therapeutic art life coach, as well as an artist, art teacher, art minister, and creative mama. Jeez. You can check out my artwork and learn more about my coaching and other projects at danicatheartist.com. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.